Hey, howdy. It's Tukey time. And I think today is a day where we do the dailies and then I kind of just wander because there's been a new patch. And along with this new patch, remember when I said that Nightmare was going to be adding some new worlds? Well, a patch has been put out. Hang on, reducing my sound a little bit because it was a little loud. Take a look at that. There's the new world. Now, in the previous patch, this used to instantly crash the game when you try to enter it. I say we start by entering it, because I'm curious where this leads. Already it reminds me a ton of Puddle World. And I mean, I can only imagine whether or not that was intentional. This area looks very interesting. Oh! No. Hang on, what else was new? I gotta check. There was some Mapsuki stuff, and the other stuff is from Nightmare. Alright, I guess from here we do the dailies. So, I have fallen back down the rabbit hole, kicking and tumbling, and I've been reading up not only about PopCap, but about cousin companies to PopCap. The more I dig, the bigger the cave gets, really. The more things I find that I can be looking for. Because there is this whole-ass family tree of games and game developers and shared blood between them. To the point that I think, I don't know the exact amount, but there's definitely some degree of separation. There's a pretty close numbers of degree of separation between PopCap and Valve. The range is actually quite small. And I mean, considering the outcomes, it makes sense. That when you think about the stuff that was originally on Steam, all the way back when Steam first launched as a platform, PopCap was the very first company that was, one of the very first companies that was given the ability to put third-party games on the platform. Which is quite an honor, frankly. Alright, next up is Horror Maze, which is this is an interesting one. Wrong place. Purple World is where I should be going. Someone was saying it in the Tukey server earlier. I feel like there should be a pruning of Nexus worlds in the future. Because there are too many cooks in this kitchen, and there are too many Nexus worlds right now that only have like 1 or 2 connections off of them. And I'm talking total, like at least Oil Puddle World. Oil Puddle World is really isolated from all of the other worlds, but at least it's kind of a container for Kotensu's worlds, so I don't mind it too much. But then you get to stuff like Shield Owl World, where there's literally 2 total. And it's more like, okay, but that's, come on. At least Pudding World and Ornamental Plains are starting to get connections again, but, you know. Some of them just get no love. They get no love at all. But back to what I was saying about PopCap. and like the extended family of the early shareware developers. There are 3 companies that seem to share blood. Aww. It is PopCap, Raptosoft, and Retro64, all of which made a bunch of super old games of like good of good note. And Retro64 and Raptosoft, I believe they both worked under PopCap for a good chunk of their life, but they made games of their own accord. But now I'm just filled with the... I want to keep going down this rabbit hole to see where it leads. Hello. I like the Shadow Lady. Yeah, screw it, I'll do Horror Maze. Oh, people. This is super, super cool. It does make me a little sad that apparently Sniper Bob is taking a indefinite hiatus from making Tuki maps for the sake of their mental health, which, I mean, go for it. They made a lot of really cool maps. They made a lot of really cool maps for this game, and some cool maps for Uneven Dream too, which I actually didn't know about. Also, crap. Like this is still one of the coolest maps in the game. Full stop. I guess next stop is, where do I want to go? I kind of want to go and do that vending machine. That vending machine is actually in Kaleidoscope World, which is another one on the QXY path. So I say we do that. But I haven't found any real brain blasts when it comes to the older PopCap stuff. If I did, I probably would make a video about it. Immediately drop everything. I was like, oh my god, game from my childhood. Look at this, look at this, look at this. But I did end up adding something new to the spreadsheet, so I think before I move on to Peggle Extreme, I gotta do that. Just to make sure that I get through every single PopCap game by the time I reach the end of that list, before I do something crazy and stupid like move on to the cousin companies. There's a lot of weird shared blood between game developers. The one that caught me so off guard was I was watching a video a few days ago. One of the What Happened videos about Duke Nukem Forever. Great video, I highly recommend it. And I learned that apparently part of the falling out of Duke Nukem Forever, it basically led to the creation of Gearbox, which is nuts. And I wonder how many, like, weird cases there are like that. And I also wonder if there are any, like, fringe companies that were made in the fallout of the EA PopCap merger. Because it seems like a lot of the, like, some of the staff definitely stayed behind, but it feels like it seems like a lot of the older staff stepped off after basically after the company was acquired. So a lot of them weren't even there for Bejeweled 3, much less for the EA specific stuff like PvZ2 or Peggle 2 or Peggle Blast or the newer stuff. I don't even remember. A Bejeweled Stars. Something else that I learned is apparently there is not only Chuzzle 2, but also Chuzzle Snap. The creator of Chuzzle has made more versions of Chuzzle. And I don't know how the heck I'm gonna play them on PC, but they do seem to be available on Android. Which, Chuzzle Snap seemed to have a different sort of gameplay setting, but Chuzzle 2 was basically just Chuzzle from what I could see. If anything, the thing that I would love to see more than anything in the world is a modern George Fan working on a modern version of Insaniquarium. That would be so freaking cool. Trouble is, I'm not entirely sure who would pick it up at this point. Because, I mean, I have a feeling that if you went to PopCap and asked for them, I feel like they would be very keen. Perhaps a little too keen. And then they would fill it full of microtransactions. And this is going to sound stupid at first, but I would honestly be fine with an Insaniquarium reboot with microtransactions on the condition that it was all the microtransactions were kept to the virtual tank. Because I don't know how to describe it. But, it always gave off the vibe of the virtual tank half always gave off the vibe of a, free-to-play mobile game for me. Where it's very, like, simplistic, super grindy. And, I mean, Plants vs. Zombies also kind of had that vibe, so it's one of the few games where I don't really mind microtransactions in the first one, because they kind of fit. But again, it's just for certain facets of the game. For Plants vs. Zombies, the microtransactions were only really fitting for me in the super, super late game where you were trying to unlock everything and trying to get all the special plants and stuff like that. It takes a while to get all of those, to get all the money that you need. Even when you're like grinding out challenges and doing stuff like that, it takes a while. There is plenty of stuff there to keep you coming back for a while. So, I mean, of all the games to have microtransactions, that's one of the few that I'm okay with. Insaniquarium, as well, probably could have benefited from it, but it's another one of those games, kind of like Bookworm, kind of like Chuzzle. Well, Chuzzle, they kept around, but kind of like, Insaniquarium, that once a certain amount of time passed since the PopCap EA merger, EA acted like half of their catalog just straight up didn't exist. Everything but the moneymakers was tossed off to the side. And then even some of the moneymakers were tossed off to the side, like what happened with Bookworm. Okay, so somewhere in here there's Kaleidoscope World, but I actually forget where it is. That's Streetlight Docks. There it is. Okay, so somewhere in here, red creature. That was the spreadsheet. Sorry. Part of the reason why I'm in PopCap fixation mode is that I was editing the spreadsheet and making sure that everything was right in there. Whoa! I guess QXY did like contribute quite a bit to the Eldritch Streetlight. I guess I can assume then that they were the one that did the art for that one that looked like a big hibiscus plant. So is that it then? I think I see a door down there. What is going on here? What is going on? Okay. Oh, there's another one. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of just scanning through with my cursor and looking for doors. Because I know there are doors. Hey, speaking of, have I been in this door? This must be the door to 3D Underworld. I guess it's just broken in the screenshot. One must imagine Sisyphus a Yumatuki player. Oh yeah, speaking of Sisyphus. I mean, what a segue, right? Speaking of Sisyphus. Speaking of mindless and ridiculous tasks. Apparently, I learned through the server that using macros to do tedious events is actually allowed. Now that being said, I am going to relegate some of the time of this video to doing a tedious event, that being shogi board, because I kind of want to start grinding up money. Have I? I'm not sure if I've unlocked that connection. What are you guys doing? I'm not actually sure if I've been to Othello board from here before, but if I have the connection unlocked, that could be interesting. If not, I will just stomach it and go the long way. Okay. So right now I'm in Toy World. I gotta swap and go to the other side. Please do not eat the cigarettes. I went the wrong way, actually. Right, because there's basically two different sets of areas. Okay. Well, now I'm in the right place. Is it here, then? I guess it's worth the chainsaw. This is not matching up with the map at all. It's the right tower. Okay, Toy World B is behind that chaser. Okay. Let me chainsaw the funny guy. Now that I have chainsawed the funny guy, I'm now over on the other side. This should lead me to where I need to go. Yes. Huh. A fellow board. Okay, so where does this lead? How do I get from fellow board to shogi board? Huh. There we go. We have now entered shogi land. The king is from... Okay. Let me look up how you're supposed to get money. Weird original name. Airway on the shogi pieces. I think I need to interact with the pawns, if I'm understanding this correctly. Or maybe I interact with these? Let me try this for a little bit, just to be sure. There he goes. Okay, that is a pawn. These are the pieces that I need to flip. Alright, give me just a second. Yeah, I was just making sure to be sure that this was the right piece. I think it is. Yeah, okay. Now, the question is, do I do this or do I do gnomes? Gnomes might actually be faster, but just now I know that that is an option. I think gnomes are faster though, so let's try that instead. That is... I always forget the fastest way to get to Hand Hub. I think it's Simple Street. I always found it very funny that freaking Gray Road has no background. So in this specific state, it kind of just looks like nothing. There you are. God, this music. It doesn't drive me as insane as some of the other music by this author, but damn. So I kind of just have to hold down up. Every once in a while, there will be a gnome. And if I kill the gnome, it will drop money. Gnome! What do I do to you? It's not... I don't think I actually kill him. Child, right. I think this is faster, but it's easier to just use a hotkey to automate shogi board. That is the weirdest thing, too. Just the way that probability works. The folly of how how people identify when a probability is worth it. If you have a ridiculously low chance for something to happen, but it also pays out a ridiculously high amount, it is still technically in your best interest to do it. Like, for example, if it costs you $1 to enter into a $200 million Powerball lottery, and, oh, I forget the exact amount that'd be worth it. I think it's if the chances were 1 in 20 million or something like that, then it would be worth it. Anything above that would be worth it. Even though that logically makes no sense, probabilistically it makes sense. Basically just like your average, it would boil down to how much you're getting on average as opposed to what you're putting in, which would just be $1. Now, logically, we know that that's false. The chance is extremely low, lower than being struck by lightning. So there's no point. You may as well just invest your money at that point. It would take ages to get to max money like this. There's also apparently in one of Mapsuki's new worlds, there's a way to grind up to max money. I do not know how. I also don't know how you even get there. But there is a method. And it's apparently ridiculous. I'm pretty sure it's one of the two areas, it's one of the newer areas, and it's one of the two areas that is marked off of the completion map for being too difficult to reach. In a similar vein as Floating City and Spellud's super crazy Enigma areas. Like Innocent Dream and Fantasy Library and the like. Or I guess just Innocent Dream at this point. Alright, I think I've subjected myself and yourself to enough. This seems cool. Not sure how I feel about the sprite fidelity, but it looks interesting. That's all I got for now, though. Thanks so much for watching.